All righty. Hope all is well. And I hope that everybody had a great weekend. And hopefully you made some money this weekend as well. It's always a plus. Making that moolah. All right. I am Jamie Irvin, and I am the host for today's session. And I'm telling you, man, it's been a wild weekend. Good morning, Janae. It's been a wild weekend. Let's jump into our pre-market real quick. The Dow futures is up slightly, 0.88%. S&P futures up 0.84%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.92%. The Dow futures rebound from a sell-off as Goldman Sachs earnings top the street. And Israel thwarts Iran attack. Good morning, Sizzling. Asia last reported all down except for Shanghai. ASX 200 down 0.46%. Nikkei down 0.74%, which was the most. Kospi down 0.42%. There's the bell. HSI down 0.72%, and Shanghai was the only one up 1.26%. That Asian Pacific markets fall as Israel-Iran tension spike. Spotlight on oil, gold, and Bitcoin. For Europe, all green at the time, 1.34% for the DAX. FTSE up 0.06%. CAC up 1.27%. And FTSE Milano up 1.52%, which was the most. And Stock 600 up 0.81%. Let's take a look at the VIX real quick. The VIX is pointed down 5.55%. So that was a thing last week. It had risen quite a bit. So we got currently, though, the Dow Jones is up 0.99%. You got S&P 500 up 0.73%, and the NASDAQ up 0.54%. Russell 2K is the only one down 1.93%, and it is down the most. Good morning, Lisa Henry, Marion Richburg, Nangali, Rabouche, and Patrick Rini. All right. So we are going to run over here to, we might as well take a look at SPX real quick so we can ready to set our levels. And we are going to swing by and check out what Mancini had to say. I got some stuff that's filling in from the weekend from my Sam, so y'all might be hearing some bells going off real quick. Actually, let's go with Forex Factory because some of this stuff has happened already. So for today, for Forex Factory, we got the core retail sales month over month. That was better than expected or better than projected. Red folder. Also, the Empire State Manufacturing Index was a red folder, but didn't go as well as planned on that one. Retail sales month over month was better than expected. We got at 8:30 also the FOMC member Williams was speaking. 10 o'clock, we got business inventories month over month. And then the NAHB housing market. Both of these are yellow folders, but I feel like NAHB should be a little bit more. Day one of the IMF meetings is kicking off. So that's what's happening on the Forex Factory side of things. We have, so this is all the stuff that happened already, so I will not rehash this. But I will say for what's coming up, business inventories, actually, a couple of these we can back up because the retail control month over month for March was better than anticipated. The 3 stars here was for retail sales month over month for March, and then 1 star for year over year retail sales for March. The other 2 were better than forecast. The retail sales excluding gas and autos month over month for March was also better than projected. Business inventories, though, month over month for February is coming up. NAHB housing market for April. So that first one I just named, that's 2 stars. NAHB housing market for April is 1 star. Another 2 stars for retail inventories, excluding auto, for February. Then at 11:30, we have 2 3-month bill. We have 2 1-star events: 3-month bill auction, 6-month bill auction. Then at 2 o'clock, Atlanta Fed GDP Now Q1. And then it looks like 8 o'clock is FOMC member Daily Speaks. So as of we have a 2-star event at 2 o'clock for that Atlanta Fed Now, and then we're up and out of there. So we got to be careful. We got to be careful. This is Anna Mancini. Despite the weekend hysteria, green opened for SPX. 5106 was next. Let me make sure I got the right one. Okay. Support Friday with 5118 needed to trigger back longs as posted. We held 5106 to the tick and got the squeeze back to 5148. Plan today, as long as we base above 5137 to 5133 in that range, 5164, 5174 and higher is next. If 5133 fails, we dip to 5121. So for my purposes, 5133 is what I will be putting on my chart. And we'll just clear this drawing set. We'll go 15-minute. This was a gap up for this morning. Definitely want to mark the gap right there. All right. This is the gap up. And we're going to do Mancini. All right. Actually, let me do it this way. And here, 5133. So put that in there and go 5133. That's what we need. Matter of fact, probably should make it red since it's a serious number. Go 5133, Mancini. And we'll show the name on the right. Right, so we're over here, 5133. Matter of fact, I'll show the price on the right. So for those of you who follow Adam Mancini, he gives a series of numbers. In our case, we could put 5121 in here and 51. I would say 5164 because those are the next ones that he could hit. So we can say 5121 and 5164 as the next prices. So 5121. Let's duplicate this line. 5121. Put that in there. 51. And then 5164. Duplicate that. And I'm going to put this in a different color. We'll do something like that. So now we know when we're watching this during the day, because at least it'll hit that one first. It'll go higher. If it goes higher, then we know the 5174 is another number that he had up there. But be aware that for the SPX, and I'm looking on the 15-minute chart, above where we are right now, there's also another gap up here. All right, so we got this happening from where it gapped down before. So we got a gap that it can be trying to fill, and then we got a gap that's above it as well on the 15-minute chart. Then our lines for the breakout, we will wait for the first 15 minutes, and then we'll come back to that. All right. And if you have any tickers you want to look at, please do drop them. We have a list of things that we'll look at, but we want to make sure we get whatever you want to look at. Thanks to everybody who came to Cash Flow this past Saturday. It was hilarious. It was fun. That's all I can say. It was hilarious and it was fun. So Hopefully you all make it to the next one. I definitely enjoy being able to do that online. So shout out to Educated the Trader for providing us with the link to be able to make that happen on the second Saturdays. And also shout out to the Friday Night Study Group, who has been very supportive in allowing us to announce in that forum as well, because we got a lot of people from E2T that's in that forum as well. So both of them have been very supportive. We truly, truly appreciate it. All right. Let's see here. Earnings. Good morning, Ward Wilson, Adrian Dupree, Lisa Henry, Marianne Richburg. I'm not sure if I shouted y'all out. My bad. If I did not. Banking is stepping in, y'all. So it's about to get volatile. Volatile. Because last week is when Wells Fargo and was it Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo and like 2 or 3 other banks reported on Friday to kick this off. So before open today was Goldman Sachs, Charles Schwab, M&T Bank, Guarantee Bank and Trust, Caliber Wealth Development Company. That's before the open. After the close today, it'll be Skillsoft, First Bank, Inspired, Vuzix. Vuzix is the people that make like headphones for the virtual reality goggles, not headphones, but the eyewear for virtual reality goggles. That's what they do. So they're kind of in that augmented reality space as well. I shouldn't even say kind of, they are. DFLI is Dragonfly and CrossFirst Bank shares. That's after market today. Before market tomorrow is Bank of America, United Health Group, Johnson & Johnson, Morgan Stanley, Bank of New York Mellon, PNC, Mercantile Bank Corporation, Northern Trust, Ericsson, and Commerce Bank. Then tomorrow after close is United Airlines, Interactive Brokers, which some of y'all might recognize because some of y'all use them. JB Hunt, who I thought that was one of the ones that was bankrupt or something, or Omnicom Group, On Track Health, Hancock Whitney, Equity Bank Shares, Fulton Financial Corporation, and American Mobile is after close on Tuesday. Wednesday, we got popping off ASML, who was in the semiconductor space, Abbott, Prologis, Travelers, U.S. Bancorp, Bank United, First Horizon, National Corporation. Y'all see all these banks. SHL, Telemedicine, First Community Corporation, Citizens Financial Group, everybody, whoever they are. After close on Wednesday, Alcoa, Sands Las Vegas, Kinder Morgan, Discover, CSX, SL Green, Realty Corporation, Synovus, Liberty, Bank of the Ozark, Crown Castle. That's after close on Wednesday, right? Tech is stepping up again. Thursday is a big tech day. Before the open is TSMC, which is Taiwan Semiconductor, Nokia, the Blackstone Group, KeyBank, Elevance Health, DR Horton, Alaska Airlines, Texas Capital Bank, Infosys, and Ally Bank, or Ally, or Ali, however you say it. After the close on Thursday is Netflix, Intuitive Surgical, PPG, Western Alliance Bank Corporation, Metropolitan Commercial Bank, Alpine, Bladex, SB Financial, Provident, and First Western. That's after close. Then on Friday, we don't have as many going on, but American Express, P&G, Procter & Gamble, SLB, WePro, Fifth Third Bank. And when I saw FITB, I thought that stood for Fitbit, Huntington Bank, Regions, and Lakeland Bank. So as you can see, in my opinion, if you're not at least charting XLF, which is the sector ETF for financials, I would encourage you to at least take a look at it, right? Because I'm not saying trade it. I'm just saying take a look at it, since there's going to be some type of all these banks. There's got to be something happening with XLF, since that's the sector for it. Also, SOXL and XLK. SOXL is a semiconductor, but XLK is the sector ETF that would encompass tech and something like Netflix just to get a general view of that area. B Spencer, good morning. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I would expect some, some type of volatility or something to be jumping off in those sectors. Okay. So I see Adrian has Goldman Sachs in here. So we'll swing back to the S&P momentarily. Let's take a look at Goldman Sachs real quick. And no surprise, Goldman Sachs is on an upswing. They broke past this is on the monthly chart, and they broke past their last highs, which was about right here, 33.85. They broke past that, but they have been retesting it on the monthly chart. So they are up there. They were up there, when was this? 2021, October 2021. So they are definitely retesting these high levels. So we may not actually find anything in terms of a solid buy zone or something like that, or solid sell zone, I should say, because of how high up they are. But over here on the weekly, this is a formation right here. Sellers formation. Let me zoom in on this. Be way up here on this level. So leg in, base leg out. I don't really care for the leg in, but whatever. This is where we at. This is what we're working with. So we're way up there because we're at those highs. So there's not going to be a whole lot left up there. First weekly, currently, this is where we at. So this is what we would be charting this right here. But the next thing up would be a little tiny bit over there, which isn't a whole lot. And I would imagine somebody would probably be doing a cheer or something in this section. I don't know if you would want to do that or not on the weekly, but leg in, base leg out, that is a formation. There's a lot of revisits here, but more than likely, I would imagine somebody would be down here in terms of the buy zone. This is a cheer, leg in, base leg out. I would consider this more so probably momentum, more so than a cheer, this one, but I would like this one for a cheer and that one for a cheer formation, those two. So I probably, that would be my two on the weekly. On the daily, super gap down, player. Here we go. Well, actually, super gap up. I was looking at this one. I meant a super drop, but super gap up after the drop down. So we got that right there. Duplicate. Leg in, base, serious gap. And it's working on filling that now, and we shall see. Goldman Sachs is always in the news for some reason or another, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for them. Of course, it gapped up right into a sell zone, or what could pass for a sell zone, but I would even say, yeah, I mean, right there would have been a sell zone that it gapped up into. So their sell zone, their next sell zone-ish formation. This has not filled all the way up here. So that's the only reason why I would put this up here on the daily. But because it has not went through there. It's real close. But this is the last formation. In a case like this, where you have such a large candle that is dropping down and there's not a clear, let's say, seller zone on this side of it or something like that, a lot of people would just go down to probably the 4 hour to see if there's a formation in there, something like this here. Right? So that gives us a leg in, two in the base essentially, and then the leg out right there. So that could be a potential zone in and of itself on the 4 hour. Or as my pops would say, 4 hour. He didn't like, for some reason, he didn't pronounce his R's at the ends of sentences. So he'd be like 4 hour. 4 hour right there. You could also since you're looking over here, might as well look at this right here. 4 hour. You can do there's a couple things you can do down here. Either one, to me, as long as you're taking advantage of the leg out. Some people would do this. Leg in, 2 in the base, leg out. But remember, this is on the 4 hour chart, so there's fewer candles to represent the time frame. But some people would do this way and do this small leg as a leg in, base, and a leg out. Quite frankly, I think I probably would be more likely to do this one, just so I can have a stronger leg in and a stronger leg out. But if we were looking at this on the daily, then it would look something like that. So we still have an agreement that it is in the buy zone, and on the daily also, right here we got leg in, like 3 in the base, and leg out. Leg in, 3 in the base, leg out. So this particular one, I charted for the last candle that was formed. But this hasn't actually, this third one really hasn't. This is today. So if we just like go with the not counting today because it's not filled or it's not full, the day hasn't ended, I would be charting this right here. Leg in, 3 in the base, leg out, and it is one revisit. So only I reset those lines only because 3 candles normally is what is considered a formation. At least that's the way I was taught it. And so much rather chart it with this last one than to jump the gun and do it before this one is finished. So, but I would be looking at something like that in terms of yeah, I'll be looking at something like that. You got a mixture of, you know, sell zone, buy zone, but all of them seem to have this in common. This line right here, 414. That's my area code. 414. They have that in common. There's also a little bit of a gap happening right here too, in between there on the daily. All right. So if I was looking to get into it, it's not investment advice. I'm just saying what I be looking at, and if I was trying to get into it, based on where it's sandwiched, it's in the sell zone and it's getting rejected. So if you're feeling what our listener would say is froggy, more than likely you might be more, I guess you could say, apt to go for the call credit spread. I'm not a frog, so I'm probably gonna be chicken little. Go for other means, but anyway. So if we do, we round this up. We say 12. We say 12. 407 plus 12. Right. We're gonna go with 419. So that's gonna put you about right here. This is 81% out of the money. Right. Matter of fact, let me do it this way so I won't get accused of cheating. Where's my calculator? I got a calculator in here somewhere. There it is. So we do 407 plus, I'm going to say 12. We'll do 12. See where we get these numbers from. 419. We got to go outside of 419. So that'll be 420. It's 82% out the money currently. If you're trying to go above price. Control. Woo! For real? For the 19th? Jesus. Since it's so close to price, you're going to get that type of premium right there. Again, it seems to be trying to push its way out. Okay. So This is who I'm more than sure this is where our list will be like 420. You can have 420. 82%. But I'm gonna show y'all where I'm gonna be. Take on one little bitty step back. I'll be here. I'm okay with 37. No, but for real, on the 5 spread, I would only be doing this if I'm thinking about doing the iron condor. Entering on both sides for the credit spread. So, one of the things that the reason why I would be interested in 420 at this point would be because we'll do day. I'm gonna do YouTube AM. I did notice that the jump between 415 and 420 is a good 11%. Not that makes a difference in any stretch, but I have started noticing some of those larger jumps in between some of those prices. So I will be looking at that. Marion wanted BAC. So that's what I would be looking at if you wanted to go up top and do the CCS. Because that is where price is turning around. That is where price has been getting rejected in the past. So normally I probably would start off down here, but that's just me. So that's what I'll be looking at up there in that 420 range, which will be up here. All right. So that's for Goldman Sachs. BAC. Bank of America. Think about Bank of America, man. I noticed that their ATR is not that large. At least anytime I've looked at them. This was a breakout. And this is another situation where today's candle is still forming. But we can still acknowledge this gap right here. At least we can say that that's happening. All right. So we got the gap happening. All right. So a lot of times on the charts, I will notice that a gap will have, it will create some type of zone many times. And this will be the leg in, this will be the base, this is the leg out, regardless of what it's going to end up doing, it will still be the leg out. So I'm comfortable with that one. We're going to go to the seller zone up here. And we're looking at the daily again. I am interested in what they've been doing on the monthly chart. I'll look at that in a second. But so this is leg in, base, and leg out for the seller zone. I do have people that I know who will put both of those in the base, leg in, 2 in the base, leg out. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. All I'm saying is I would prefer this one. All right. And I like that one because now technically, if you want to be honest about it, you're almost saying the same thing. If you think about it, I'm acknowledging that there's a gap down here. So there's space here. So if somebody else was to do it the other way that I just showed you, and if they were to bring their proximal line down here, technically we're putting our lines in the same spots. We're just doing it for different reasons. That's really all that means. So in my case, I'm just acknowledging that a gap down right there, and that's what it ends up being. The same space. So it needs to come back and try to fill that. And I'm sure it will at some point. I'm not a big fan of this formation just because the wick here is not your traditional small wick in between 2 candles, but it's the closest thing that I see. So I want to make sure that's what it's hitting right now. I should say it's in that zone. So I want to acknowledge that it is there. but I would be moving on down. Moving on down. So wait, if Georgia Wheezy was moving on up, that would make the Evans from Good Times moving on down, right? Am I saying, is that right? Conceptually, leg in, 3 in the base, leg out. So this is the buyer zone right here, chair formation. So it looks like it is respecting whatever line this was when it came down and bounced out, gapped up. There's a seller zone above it. So this is sandwiched in between 2 gaps right there. That's what's happening. And I'm going to even put this line at the bottom so we can acknowledge that this is a formation in the making, but this is definitely the buyer zone. All right. BAC. So since it's stuck in the middle, yeah, we probably want to go with if you go on the top, the bottom, you can do 36.4. We'll do 36.4, which is current price minus our volatility to go at the bottom. 1.4. Got 35. Got 79% out the money. 79% out the money. That is in our list of number right there. 79%. All right. And we'll have to do that as a one spread. Get them $11, $12, right? So 79% out the money. And one spread, so that's $100 of collateral. Right? So that 12% return on collateral. That 12%. YouTube AM. If you wanted to do an iron condor, add that to the top. So that would be 37.7. So 38. Yeah, oh my goodness, it's 82%. You can do 74% out in the money. That's number 2. Alyssa's into she's into doing the 79, 75% stuff.
Yeah. So what are you saying?
Go ahead and be a frog all you want to, player.
I mean, between 70 and 75, I mean, if you were in school, a 75 would be sufficient for you. Well, for some of us, I was not that kind of student, but some people are glad with 75s.
Have not had that great of experiences with the 70s.
Oh,
Outside of being
okay.
birthed in that time frame. That's all I got. So this would be considered a breakout, I'm sure. So that would be one. But that's definitely something to watch with those. That's where I would get in those 2 spots. And definitely be watching to see what happens. Obviously, this week is a week of a lot of banking related stuff. So want to be on guard regardless. We're gonna swing back to SPX real quick. Let's see what that young 15 minutes got for us. So now this is our breakout candle right here. It's first 15 minutes. So breakout. And we'll do that one for the breakout. So what we want to see is this blue line. Is it going to break outside of the blue line? Right now, it is literally standing on top of the price point that Mancini had, 51.64. So we'll be waiting to see if it keeps pushing up or what it does. So in terms of if you're doing the 15-minute breakout, nothing has happened yet. But but it is definitely some like the buyers are trying to make some noise. This is a cheer formation right here. This is on the 15-minute. This is a cheer formation right here. And even though it went through that cheer formation, this price point is turned around twice in this area. These two candles right in a row. This is 51.56. So it'd be interesting to see how this all plays out going in these directions. But we want to look at, we got some market movers. We will look at Apple. I'm looking for, okay. So here's the thing. So we looked at market movers, but the thing I noticed about Fastenal, I've been looking at them for probably about a year and some change. But the thing is, even though their chart looks nice, and this is a nice seller zone, I would even say this is a good chair in the monthly. Dude, the problem with them is they trade, they don't have weekly. At least the last time I checked, they didn't have weekly. So they have monthly expirations. All right. And if you want to trade monthly, no problem. It so happens that the next one, expiration coming up is this Friday. But man, look at the premiums though. Or let me say that a different way. Look at the not premiums though. Because, yeah, 88% out of the money, and you are out of the money, literally. So in that regard, then you have to go out to start looking in May, and now you on a hunt. 64, 62 would be about right here. So that's 87%, 74% if you want to go right here. But you got to go, you got your collateral on the line for that month. I personally am not a fan of the monthlies, but the point I'm making really here is because it's a fast mover or a market mover doesn't necessarily mean it's something that we want to trade. Even though in this case we can, because they got decent premiums if you're going further out, but you're also putting your money on the line. And the same thing with Monster last time I checked. And they're still in the same situation. Same thing, no premiums. And that's if you're trying to go, obviously, to get it for this week. But if you go out further, I mean, this is a 5 spread here at the bottom and a 2.5 spread here. So your, say, put credit spread down here, 5 spread. I probably wouldn't even mess with that. I mean, just reverse course. But they're, in terms of the charts, they may be making some moves, again, market movers, but it don't say that it's worth us trading. This one is on the daily. Monster is on the downtrend, but on the monthly it's on the upswing. So they've been on a tear in this regard, so this could just be a pullback. But on the monthly, they have a strong zone here in the seller zone. And to me, this would be considered a strong buyer zone, but the zones are right on top of each other, right? So could very well be ready to pop in some direction. And there's another buyer zone here. Leg in, base, leg out. Even though that's a stronger leg out, but still, those two are right there for the monthly. So the weekly, it just broke through its last or its most recent low and could be heading on down. But this is the buyer zone that I see that's next. So it'll try to break past this low. And there's a little bit of a gap here on the weekly. And then you got leg in, 3 in the base, leg out right there for a buyer zone on the weekly. And or you could do leg in, candle, small candle for the base, and leg out. So you don't have to put all three of those in the base. You can just do this as a leg in, base, leg out as a chair. Either way, just got there's some dropping to do before it lands here on the weekly. So yeah, this looks to me like, man, check that out. So it gapped up. It's on the daily. But again, I shouldn't even be charting this, to be honest with y'all, because the monthly expirations, ain't my thing, and this was on that list. But there's a gap right there, and that is what it is standing on currently. So it is a low that it may and or may not be breaking past, but it is definitely a point of, this was a buyer's gap. So it coming back down, very well could have buyers pushing up right there. I don't know how you want to chart any of this in here, but to me, it's stronger up here. It's a much stronger. You could even probably do that as a chair, or any variation of this. Leg in, 4 in the base, leg out. If you wanted the strongest zones up there on the weekly, do it that way. You do that. That's a lot of them in the base, but that's one way I've seen it done. And then I've seen it done this way, where leg in, base, leg out. Seen it done that way as well. Yeah. I probably will leave it at that one personally, but let's see what Mr. 4 Hour is talking about. On the 4 hour, there's a nice seller zone right there. More recently, but again, it's finishing, its current leg, so I really wouldn't count that. Not yet. Not until it is end of the day, fully formed, et cetera, et cetera. But Monster is a monthly that expires on the 19th. So again, it's doing well on the monthly chart. But for us traders, I don't know what we want to mess with that one. So let's look at a mover that we're familiar with. All right. This would be Apple, who has been on a downtrend. They've been pulling back, ladies and gentlemen. They have been retesting this 169 area. When was this? September of 23. So this right here, pole south to north, it has hit this point twice up here. This is what it looks just like, a double top formation. Do I have it? This is a double top right here, north to south, and it has a point or a triple top. It could be double top or triple top. That's what I'll be looking at, mainly because it's hitting the same spots right there. On the chart, which would make this right here is what they would refer to as the neckline. So I'll be watching that on the monthly even, because breaks past there, heading on down You are the next contestant of The Price is Wrong. All right. And then I would imagine that it will be somewhere in here where it may be dropping to. But so that means on the weekly, we got a downtrend happening. Kaboom. Yeah. I don't know why people panic with Apple, man. They more than proven that they got more than enough money makers where they're gonna be all right. Apple is gonna be just fine. I'm not saying that they're Teflon. I'm just saying they making money in so many ways. They gonna get their paper. All right. Tesla is laying off or about to lay off. I think they said, was it 10,000 people? Listen, Elon needs to get off Twitter. Quit tweeting. Maybe you need to stop tweeting, player, because you getting yourself in trouble. This is a downtrend. That's all I'm really acknowledging that. And if you wanted to, you could bring that down a little bit more just to get these tips involved. But I would see that as a channel and that it is starting to come back up. This is on the weekly. Here's a buyer zone right here. Right? Leg in, base, leg out. There's the one closer. So if I was charting the weekly, I would be putting the lines right here. Right there. And I will put this in as a chair in the seller zone for the weekly. Chair formation, leg in, two in the base, leg out. So it's definitely testing this area. Also of note is this formation on the weekly. So it's a couple different ways to describe this, but there's always a toss-up between whether or not something should be called a harami or a engulfing. The vernacular itself, I think, is less relevant than understanding what is actually happening, regardless of what it's called. In this case, this would be called a bearish harami. Okay. That's my understanding of it. At least the formation of it. Because you have a green candle, and then the very next candle is way smaller. This green candle is engulfing the next candle after it. So but that's what's happening in the description of, and again, there's multiple ways to look at it, but I would consider this, you can see the formation anywhere, but my understanding is that the formation itself is more powerful when this formation is happening in a seller zone. So this is happening, same formation, but it's happening in a buyer zone. So when it's happening in the seller zone, that's when it's a better signal that it could be about to turn around. All right. But the harami, the bearish harami itself would be a larger green candle than a smaller red candle, or buyer candle is larger. Next candle is more of a seller candle, and it is smaller. Some of these formations are considered stronger, put that in quotations, when they're in certain zones. So this is a good example up here. You see like this type of formation where you have this pressure coming down. We see that on sometimes in the buyer zone on some of the base candles, right? But when it's at the top, when it's the base and it's in the seller zone, that pressure coming from sellers, that could be considered a signal. Nothing is guaranteed with this stuff. I hope you understand that, but that's just an example. But this candle is larger than the next one, so it'll be interesting to see. Sometimes we'll see this pop out and it'll go up. So it all just depends. But since this particular one is still in motion for this week, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. This is in the seller zone on the daily. So if we're doing daily, we'll be down here on Apple. And I'm gonna blow this up. It's a couple things that can be done here, but I'll just be looking at this one. Leg in, base, leg out is where I will be looking. And here, because it is in a seller zone, so I'll be looking at that. Looks like it's getting rejected from that zone. Right? Then a lot of this depends on how long you plan on holding it. So since I'm usually in the 4-hour frame of reference, this is what the seller zone will be looking like in this case, even though I don't like the leg out, but the formation itself is what I'll be looking for if I'm looking for a sell zone. This is the buy zone down here. So, and this is, trying to break past these recent lows. So I would keep what I have there, but at least we know this is getting pushed out from that angle. So if you wanted to start your investigation, 4.2, I would do 174.6 plus 4.2. I will at least start looking there. That's current price plus this up here. So yeah, these I put in a while back. So 178. So you have to be, I would need to be up here. This one I won't put in because I got those other ones there, but that's what I'll be around there. That's 21 cents, almost 10%. That's what I'll be looking at since it's pushing out of that zone. Ward Wilson. It might be bouncing now, so be careful. I'm not sure who I'm talking to about. Unless I can't yet do credit spreads since they won't let get up to level 3. Any suggestions? Listen, Alyssa. I don't know if he's talking to Alyssa or credit spreads.
I think he's talking to Arlissa.
Okay.
Yeah, Ward, there is a way that I can give you some suggestions. I'm just not going to give it over YouTube Live. Reach out to me either on Telegram or somewhere, so that way I can give you some guidance, because there is a way you can get yourself, an honest way to get to level 3. All right.
Not saying it's illegal.
No, it's not illegal. It's definitely, I'm not going to do nothing illegal ever, because, I'm not going to jail. I was watching this show this weekend. I'm not sure if y'all watching Netflix, but I was watching this show called Unlocked, right? I don't know why I started watching. It's on Netflix, but it shows this like jail situation where the sheriff decided he wanted to like open the doors and give them a lot more freedom, and all that goes along with what went along with that. So I was like, you know what? It just was a reiteration for me that jail ain't for me. Jail ain't for me. When they started cooking all these crazy foods and such, and I was like, okay, jail ain't for me. So I won't be doing anything illegal ever. At the most illegal I'm probably gonna do is speeding. So you don't gotta worry about me telling you nothing illegal.
The joke was the way you said it.
I know.
Come holler at me offline. Like, no, she's not doing anything illegal, y'all.
Yeah,
Just
no, it will not be illegal. But I
detail.
will, but I still will not share it over open YouTube.
We don't want certain details shared. Well,
Yes,
nothing
yes,
recorded that can be used against us in the court of law.
yeah.
So we got the breakout finally did happen. It happened in SPX, and this was the retest. This is where I will be looking to start my investigation to if you're doing the PDT hack or the breakout. I will be looking in this area since I'll be looking at a call credit spread, so I'll be above price. If my computer was stop freezing, I'll be above price in this situation. Yeah. 51. So I'll be adding 30 to this, which is 51.73. Actually, do it this way. Alrighty. Let's go 51.73. Which would be 51. Nope, because it's inflated. So now we got to go. No. Oh, I'll see what happened here. Close this and go here. Perfect. 51.73. So if we did 51.75, 83% off the money. And then 80. It's bouncing around 75.80. 75.80 cent. 5 spread. I would be YouTube AM. Let's see what happens. Send. This is Sam, so y'all know how y'all see how quickly that fell. Don't get it twisted. Because I'm telling you, man, price be straight. Just dancing on my strikes. 80 is what we got. So I'm doing the PDT hack. So what I would be doing is same strike, do the opposite. So 51.75, I would be selling here, buying here. Then I'm gonna add. I've been doing 45, but I'll do 40. Credit. Do good till cancel. Good till cancel. YouTube AM. All right. See if this locks at some point. May or may not lock while we're on the call. All right. So 15-minute chart. This was the breakout. I got up here. It's up here because I was going against where the opposite of where price was. And if it continues down, then we'll see if the other side will lock. And then I won't have to worry about that trade. Yay. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Let's keep it going. We knocked out those. So for the top movers and earnings, and then did we do Goldman Sachs already? We did Goldman Sachs already. No, we did. Oh, okay, I see it. Nagali said Citigroup, Delta Airlines, and JP Morgan. We'll do C. I know I seen there was some type of bank in there. All right, so this is. Let's see. This is Citigroup. They're recently they haven't been as high up as some of the other banks, but on their monthly chart, I guess you could say that I will see this as a chair right here. Right there. Let me close this up. These two were like the same, almost the same length. That's the only reason why I wouldn't like it, but I feel like that's the chair formation happening. And then it's trying to get past this high over here. Then I will put $69. Leg in, 2 in the base, leg out right there. But this is a strong buyer zone down here, that's for sure. It's on the monthly. The weekly overall is a run up, but it's doing some pulling back right now. So yeah, I would still say this right here would be a nice chair, strong at 51.76-ish. There's another one sitting right there in terms of a buyer's formation. So that is the PDT hack locking. So both sides of that trade are in. I don't have to mess around with that trade for the rest of the day. Leg in, base, leg out is how I would look at this. Right there. Strong leg out. That is where it is. I'll even put it down there, something like that. Yeah, that's a strong leg out right here. But I would also be paying attention to the next one down in this case. Since it's in this zone, I'm gonna separate them and then duplicate. There you go. This is not a strong leg out, but it's the next formation down that I see. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge that it is there. This is on the daily. To me, the next one up would be, I would be putting 2 of those in the, 3 of those in the base. That's what I would do up here. Leg in, 3 in the base, leg out. Mainly because this would be such a small leg out to put in there. In other words, doing it this way, that is a formation. It does, it is a leg out, not a strong leg out at all. I'll rather do it this way. And it just so happens that this line and this candle both have had a retest of that line as well. But this is what I'll be looking at for the daily on Citigroup. 4 hour probably. It's still forming really, so I don't want to mess with that. But we don't see too much like super strong anything or clear recently outside of this right here, and it's in this area right here on the 4 hour anyway. So at the very least for the buyer zone, that is happening, and it has been turning around. Let me see. In this case, if you thought it was going to turn around, you do a put credit spread. I don't do well with put credit spreads though. I'm not gonna lie. For some reason, I do better with call credit spreads. 61.28, so 62. You can do 61 would be 79% out the money. 13 cents on a one spread. You can do that if you so chose. The other side of this would be over here. You can do 57.5. All I'm doing is subtracting this current price from this volatility number and going to a strike below that. So if it's 59 point, I guess it is 60. I'll just round this up to 2. It's 59.2 minus 2 is how I'm doing it. So if you want to do 57 and do a one spread here, that would only be 9 cents. And if you want to do some are lesser numbers, and actually in this case, it would be half a spread technically. That's the other reason why I would only be doing 57. Not illegal to do it any other way, but that's how I would do it. You could always do which would be, what is that, 1.5 spread? You always do that if you wanted to. I am not good at credits. Put the credit spread when the price is coming towards me, even though I do like the premiums, but that's what I'll be doing at the top. For the call credit spread. What was the other one? It was Delta Airlines. We love to fly in the shows. Is that Delta Airlines motto? Need to be saying we love for Boeing to give us planes that actually work, is what the new model should be. All right, so this is breaking past its most recent highs. What was this? 49.1, and also it's already broke through there. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Making its way up for sure. Nice strong buyer zone right here. These two candles right in a row. Goodness gracious. Whatever's going on down here, serious. So this has been kind of in the channel on the monthly chart, going sideways for a little while since November of 20. This has not started coming down yet at highs. I don't see any clear formations outside of this one. Nice buyer zone on the weekly. Let's see what we got going on over here for the next one up. I guess it would be up here on the weekly, right? Next one up. It's a pretty decent zone up there. Daily. Let's see what we got. Well, it went through that sell zone already. It is creating what looks like a buy zone right here. The last buy zone, though, is here. That will be 2. It has been revisited twice. And oops. Get those in. All right. Duplicate. Go up here. And here we are. So it looks like it's also forming another buy zone over here. But leg in, base, leg out is what I have for right now. For us to get even this sell zone, it already went through there. So we trying to go up. We kind of go up a little bit higher. See what we got. There you go. We all the way over here. Got to go back. All right. So we're looking at about this area. And there's quite a few candles that have to be in this base from what I'm seeing. We will have to be, what is this, 4670? Yeah. So you talking which would make me feel like this is a weaker zone because you got so many candles in the base. So that's what I got with them. This is all the way back May of 21. Leg in, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the base. Leg out. And it probably has filled this gap already. But I'm going to put it in there since I see it there. So, yeah, you would be all the way over here in May of 21 for the seller zone. Yep, already went through there. Ooh, so we got to go up even. Oh, well, shoot. Okay. You can get closer. July of 23. Technically, it went through all of those. Good Lord. Look at Delta. Y'all are flying. My goodness. All right. I'm going to go here. There you go. Leg in, base, leg out. I don't see a shear formation happening there. Not anything I would chart as shear. There you go. Now you got all that space up there. But I don't see anything in between there. Meaning a traditional formation. I mean, this is stuff happening, obviously, but there are definitely points of interest where price has turned around in the past. Like right in here. Boom, 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 boom. I would at least acknowledge that. Something is happening in that area. So when we go back over here, we can see there is stuff happening. And this will be the other one. I'll go right there. Prices turned around there. All right. And that's where it bounced off right here. So I'll put this actual seller zone higher up, but I will do this as the buyer zone for right now because this candle is not finished. So I will do that. Yeah. SPX is nosediving. JP Morgan. Is that JPM? So those are the zones. The other zone is just quite a ways back in order to find it. But it is there. Back here. Boom. What is this? 4621. Is that the one? Must be it. 4621. Yeah. All right. I'm reading the comments for any objections. Okay. JPM. Man. Well, let me do this. Actually, let me we'll clear this draw in a sec. All right. So recently the JP Morgan Chase. Let me go to the monthly first because they was doing a run up. I couldn't remember if I did JP Morgan Chase already today. I just tried some banks and can't remember if I added them in there. But this is where they're turning around. They're at highs. These 2 months, one month here, turned around, dropped the next month. Buyer zone right here. I'm not sure if this will be considered a chair or not. I feel like that can go either way. Weekly drop down. Seller's gap. And I don't even know what the next buyer zone would be for these guys. But obviously, this is the daily. Jesus Christ. Weekly. This is the drop down still. Seller zone, 2 in the base up here. And buyer zone down here. I probably will put these 3 in the base, but I don't really see too much that will be clear on that one. Now we can talk about this. Gap right here. Okay. And then we'll know it's going to have to try and fill that at some point. So that is there. There's a lot happening in some of these areas. Like, for example, I wouldn't consider this is not a formation in here, but there's obviously activity happening in this area. So in this case, I don't feel like there's nothing to chart on the daily, but there's stuff that I can acknowledge on the daily. But then I'll be looking at the 4 hours since the weekly didn't seem to be all that great either. We've got about 3 levels right here where there's basing happening, but no real definitive, you really don't get to a definitive traditional formation until you're down here. Like, this is really the first area where I would say you finally hit something that I would consider to be a quote regular formation. So I'll put that in there. There you go. Leg in, 3 in the base, leg out. That's how I would do that. But I don't see anything else that would be considered closer. So there's also a gap right here. It's a small gap at this point, but it is a gap. Let me see what the 4 hours looking like. There you are. So even though this is bouncing off one of the areas that I was like, there's no actual formation there. Over here, there will be a cheer, a tiny little cheer on the 4 hour. Because this is still forming, a little skeptical about even putting that together, but up here, I probably would do leg in here, these 2 in the base and the leg out on the 4 hour. Or if you want to just do this small leg in, 1 in the base and leg out, either one. and or neither, depending on how you want to do it. All right. So we're gonna do this. So either one of these, leg in, base, leg out, or just put this in the base, leg in, 2 in the base, leg out. There was a gap here that already filled, so, and then down here at the bottom in the basement, meanwhile, if you didn't want to chart this most recent candle because it's not fully formed, leg in, base, and then a small gap right here. It's not a strong leg out by any stretch, but that's the one that I see. Otherwise, I'll be doing something like this. But it all just depends on what the next candle or so does. On the 4 hour, I mean, you can get totally deep in the weeds on this stuff, but at the very least, though, I'm seeing the 4 hour is in agreement right here. So there's enough happening. But yep, that gap is causing a nice little buffer zone, and these zones are here too. So I would probably be using the 4 hour zones in this situation if I was trying to get into this. Or flip side, I just wouldn't even trade it at all since the zones are not strong in my opinion. But that's what I will see for JPM. All right. All right. Okay. Let's swing around to SPX one more again. And boom, man. Yeah. Still heading down a little bit. So you know what that means. That means I would be I'll be looking at another PDT hack. Okay. SML is a tech stock that we don't talk about that often, but they are definitely in the in that space, and they are I would say Taiwan Semiconductor and ASML are probably two that people probably don't really, well, everybody knows about Taiwan Semiconductor now, but SML makes some of the supplies for these semiconductor stocks. Here's a strong buyer zone for them. They're running up. They're at highs as well. No surprise to anybody, I'm sure, because tech is at highs right now. This is a strong buyer zone down here. I think I would consider this to be a cheer on the weekly. Strong buyer zone there. Daily, it is basing sideways. So I would imagine, since this is so choppy, something's about to happen. I would think. This is the most recent candle. I really try to stay away from charting the most recent candle and include it because of the fact that we don't know. Might start the day off going one direction and ended up going another direction, et cetera, et cetera. So I usually will rechart after close if I'm looking at something. But in this case, I'll just go up here in the meantime. Leg in, base, leg out. It has had one revisit right here. There's a very strong zone, quote unquote, very. Put that in quotations. Strong zone right here. Well, first of all, there's a gap. Let's acknowledge the gap first. There's a gap right here. And I'm going to duplicate this and move this up. Right there, which automatically puts us in this situation. Small leg in, but we got a base. And then we got a gap out. So leg in, base. Gap out. Right there for the leg out. So this buffer did us a favor. So like I said, the next one up, I mean, you could very well do this one as well. 3 in the base would be right here for this one. Could do that. That would be the zone that it's in. So that gets the dotted lines. It's in that zone. Not that strong in my opinion. You've got 3 of these in the base and it's been retested a few times. Not exactly the rock star zone or anything, but so that's what I'm seeing for that. Because of where it's located and because it has been basing for a while, you may want to, I probably would look, almost look like an iron condor opportunity. Let's go, let's see. Let's go 968 plus. We'll do 63. It's 1031. We got to go outside of 1031. So 1035. Right here, that is 80% out the money. Decided to do this. 90 cent. 90 cent. Let's do it. All right. If you're going to do Iron Condor, then you'll be doing 968. How about this? Do 63. 905. Let's see here. Go below 905. We got 81.4% out the money. These are 5 spreads. So, yeah, this thing is, what is the volume on this sucker? All right. So, YouTube AM. And see what happened. Oh, well, great. The put fails. Awesome. And then, all right. What time is it? What time is it? Game time. All right. This is the last one. Netflix. So the last ones that I've been doing are in the top mover, market mover, or earnings. So Goldman Sachs was in the top mover. ASML was in had earnings. That's the reason why. One of the reasons why the earnings is coming up. So I don't trade earnings, honestly. I'm in the sim. So it's like both sides of that pickup. Yeah, I don't have if anything with earnings, I probably will wait till after his earnings has been reported and then keep it moving. This is Netflix again this week. This is really more so just to show you how crazy it is. When earnings season pops up, man, this Netflix, you never see this type of volatility on that. You see volatility, but this is utterly ridiculous. But the process is the same in terms of the mechanics, but with it being earnings, that ASML in my live account, never. I will be waiting. And then again, with Netflix, some of those, because the prices jumped to where it is, it may be a 5 spread now, as the standard. But It was not always like that. So in that regard, I will skip that one since the earnings for all about the earnings. I said that was the last one. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So this is CRM. Man, it's coming out of a seller zone as well. It's a strong seller zone. This right here is called this is a reverse head and shoulders. This is one side of the shoulder. It dipped all the way down. This is the other side of the shoulder. That's what that looks like to me anyway. Reverse head and shoulder. Let's see. Reverse head and shoulder, reverse head and shoulder. Right here. Boom, 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 boom. Reverse head and shoulder. So, based on that, at least again, it never looks exactly like the chart, but that's what it reminded me of. But coming out of the sell zone, here's a buyer zone right here. Strong buyer zone. Strong buyer zone. These are on the monthly. The Salesforce for the weekly. This was a gap down recently here. You have to consider this a buyer zone, or at the very least, a turning point. You can mark that as a swing point right there because it has stopped there before. It's very definitive. Go that route. A swing point right there. Come on, the daily. Woo! Okay. So this dropped into a buy zone. Depending on how you want to chart this, some of this depends on your perspective. Different people, everybody has their own way of charting, I guess you could say. In this case, the only reason I'm where I'm at on this is because it hasn't fully gone through there yet. I tried to stick to price action and what the price did. Some people would consider this filled already, and that's fine. That's fine as well. But I'm trying to be more, stay consistent with whatever the price did. That's what I'm trying to judge things by. So since it didn't go all the way through there, but it's in the zone, then I like to acknowledge it as such. So doing this. There's no way. Y'all pray for me, man. It's April, and ants season is kicking up around here. And by ants, I do not mean my mama's sister. I literally mean the bug. These jokers have no respect.
Are you serious? And by aunt, I don't mean my mom's sister. Oh my goodness.
Gotta make sure we're on the same page, man.
So silly.
Rather for people to be like, dang, his answer's kicking up. Like, what?
Wow. Wow.
No.
So silly.
Talking about the actual bug. Okay. So on the daily, there's a lot to put in this base, man. But this is what I'm seeing. You can do this small leg out if you want to. You can do it if you want to. That's how I always knew my mom was threatening me. If you want to, you never wanted to. Whatever she was talking about, you never actually want to do it. See, if you did a small leg in right here, small leg in, small leg out, I don't know if I'm feeling that, right? I probably be more prone to either do that, because still going to be a small leg out. My accountability partner will probably say do this. Leg in, base leg out. I'm not sure I would want to do that either. But Now I can see where they're coming from, whether I agree with it or not. I probably would be looking for the weekly or the 4 hour for the sell zone. So if I was doing it this way, be up here. Can't believe Alyssa had had to clarify player. So I'll be looking at even all of this is really ugly, to be honest with you. There's nothing that makes me happy here. But I will say that because leg in, base, leg out, but all of these that's touching this line, this is all considered one to revisit. Actually, because this happens in a row after this out candle, these are not a separate revisit. This is all considered in the same grouping, if you will. So I'm okay with that for the weekly. The other thing would be I probably will just end up charting this on the weekly. Small gap up. I will be okay with that. The other thing you could do in this situation is no, I wouldn't do that because it's we'll do leg in, small leg in, base, leg out. I'll be looking at that. Just seeing what the 4 hour got to say about this situation. Not much. CRM, Salesforce, Jesus. I will never look at this chart again. All right. Over here, I see this. Damn it, my eyes. Yeah, this is it's a hideous chart. I mean, this is what I'll be looking at over here. Yeah, I wouldn't mess around with these cats right now. The chart don't seem to be all right. See, you see that leg in? Horrible. I wouldn't be messing around with Salesforce right now. But it did bounce off of here though. Something like that. Well, at least the lines is confirming each other. They better be. As much as a headache that is. All right. So that's Salesforce. They had their gap down. What is this? This would be considered this would probably be considered a double. This probably is a triple top. Which would be do I still have it up? Right here. 1, 2, 3. Right. That's a reversal pattern. That's what this looks to be. If you can count it from here, or even if you count it from here, hit them 3 points and dropped out. That's the way that looks. All right. SPX, and then we're done. SPX is doing. And I don't know who all trades Russell 2000, but it's very likely that the same thing we did in terms of PDT hack, we would have been able to do on Russell too. This has started. Isn't this mostly filling today's gap? Almost done, right? On the 15-minute. We are hitting the second number that we have for Adam Mancini, which was 51.21. This is about where he said it would go down to. So this was the close. This is around the close of Friday. Is where this is at. So, all right. shillings. All right, chickadees. The Dow futures is currently up 0.22%. S&P futures is up 0.13%. And the NASDAQ futures is up 0.04%. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 19%, 0.19%, sorry. S&P 500 is up 0.10%. NASDAQ is down 0.03%. And the Russell 2K is down 0.36%. The VIX is up 1.73%. It is at 17.61. Okay. The Dow tumbles 475 points. The S&P suffers worst day since January as inflation woes erupt. Really erupt, dude. It's been woeing for a while. What are you talking about? Anyway, E2T, daily declaration. By faith, I'm a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I'm definitely speaking by faith if that's the case. Money likes me. Dinero me encanta. Because money is comfortable around me, it is drawn to me. E2T daily prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. Right? You all have a great trading day. Thank you for hanging out. You all will see you in Telegram and or in the market. All righty. Have a good one.
Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.